Thank you. Thanks for the disclaimer, because we actually didn't think we were going to get approved, so we didn't really prepare. So we got approval about 4 o'clock yesterday, and we were like, should we skip the show or should we do some preparation?
We did not skip the show.
We didn't skip the show.
However, I have been reading, there's a book that's called Brave, Not Perfect. So you are experiencing our brave moment. Don't expect perfection.
Yeah, please don't expect
That's where
perfection.
that comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So we did go see Avenue Q, thought I'd pick up some good material, but it turns out it's not really suitable for this audience. So instead, we will talk about USAA and the wonderful company that we work for. Yeah, we only have 2 slides. Again, didn't really prepare. So
that's not true. On that one, it was easier to get 2 slides past branding and everybody than multiples.
So for those of you who don't know what USAA is, it is a company that was founded almost 100 years ago to serve a very unique demographic, high-risk military officers who couldn't get insured. So over the years, we've kind of evolved from just insurance into a large financial institution. We employ over 38,000 people all over the world, and it comes with its own unique set of challenges, but it also comes with a very, very important mission that we're all very proud of and love to advocate. So our mission is to facilitate the financial security of our members, associates, and their families by offering highly competitive financial products and services, and also be the provider of choice for the military community. So this is deeply ingrained in everything that we do. It's very important to all of us. We talk about it at every town hall. It kicks off every single meeting. It's just ingrained in our culture. I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of the company, just so you kind of understand that because we employ 30% of our employees are military members, we kind of have a different sort of mindset. We're kind of traditional, risk-averse, et cetera, et cetera. Feel free to chime in, Sarah, if you want to. So when we got up here, we wanted to talk a little bit about the history, but also a little bit about our transformational journey. We didn't want to give, the typical transformation spiel, but we did want to kind of touch on a couple of key points. One is we came from the spot that a lot of you probably came from. It was kind of an IT thing. We said, hey, let's try out this Agile stuff. It sounds kind of cool. But we didn't really get anywhere because we didn't take the business along for the ride. We thought it was just like, hey, we'll spit out some software, and long story short, we'll move faster. Wasn't the case. Obviously, we kind of fell on our faces. Then something really cool happened. A couple of our C-suite executives recognized that if we didn't intrinsically change the way that we worked, we weren't going to be around for the next 100 years. So this kind of started our transformation, and this is where Sarah will kind of talk about how it wasn't just Agile, it was just a new way of working.
And that's what we started to talk about, is the new way of working. We were doing a business agility without using the A word as much as possible. So we talked about changing the way that we finance things and looking at a more adaptive planning process. How do we get to iterative cycles? We now have quarterly views and monthly. How are we making progress to? We focused our leaders on what are the outcomes that you want to achieve so that the teams and the programs can figure out how to achieve those outcomes. Talking about delivering value and how we do that. The other thing that happened, though, is we got some help outside of the organization that we're in. First one of those was we got a vice president of business agility that's helping us focus on the larger efforts. We also got an office of culture. We're very proud of the culture that we have at USAA. It's one of the things, we're very purpose-driven, that culture is. So we didn't want to talk about changing the culture as much as shifting the culture. So this is where the second piece, last year, we got an updated, or actually earlier this year, late last year, we got the updated USAA standard. And you'll notice that this standard is the second thing that all of the employees focus on. And you start to see some of the things that will help enable our agility as we look at these. Living our core values of service, loyalty, honesty, and integrity are paramount for us. But if you look at build trust and help each other succeed, how do we do that? And how do we help each other be the best that we can be? Embrace diversity and be purposefully inclusive. It's not just about getting a diverse group of people, but how are you making sure that we are hearing everybody's voice and everybody's opinion? And then innovate and build for the future. So when that came out, that was a very simplified version of what the standards used to be, and it included a couple of new ones. The second thing that is happening right now is that this year there are 4 predominant culture shifts that the USAA leadership is focusing on. And they are, let's see if I can remember them all. One of them is around our be compliant and manage risk and be more thoughtful in, when we did Agile the first go-round, we kind of did some of those things where risk and compliance might have sidestepped. So we're trying to make up for some of those things. But we have effective challenge. So all of the leaders are helping their teams to effectively challenge and ask those questions. Is this work valuable? Is it the most important thing that we should be focusing on right now? Help me understand.
Progress over perfection.
Progress over perfection.
That's my favorite. I love that one. And it's the cool thing about that one is I'm hearing executives say that in almost every conversation recently. Just move. Progress over perfection. Let's iterate. Let's put something out there and see if it works.
And then the fourth one is...
I don't know, this was your part. I didn't memorize these.
I'm looking for the US...
They're new. The cool thing is that we have them on our badges so we can look at them normally, but we're not wearing our badges.
We're not wearing our badges.
Yeah.
Effectively challenge, progress over perfection.
I said my favorite one, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll come back to that, because in a minute, when the fear subsides, it'll come back. There you go. But we're seeing those conversations. Now we're able to get the other C executives are getting involved. The marketing officer is asking questions about how marketing does. HR is in the process of their agility transformation. We're making sure that all of the conversations we have from a coaching perspective include both the business and IT. We're not coaching one or the other, which was a thing that was happening a year and a half ago. So we're having those important and key conversations together.
I think one of the cool things that we tried out as well is, typically you have your IT organization and the business that, the IT organization that supports the business. One of the things that we tried out was bringing IT and business together under one organization in digital on a platform kind of driven scenario, and it's working. It's pretty cool. So we're hoping that that's going to be something that we spread throughout the rest of our businesses.
I think one of the other things that we learned is to use the tools that our leaders already had to help them. As you can imagine, a lot of military people had already read Team of Teams. They'd already read Turn the Ship. How did we take lessons in those books and use those to talk about agility and how we move that forward? So it wasn't something new. It wasn't something that we had to add on top of everything else. It was, you're already doing all of these things, and how do we work together? All of our leaders have taken the coaching habit, but like other places, we took the class and we went back and then we didn't use it. Now we have coaches that can pull that out and say, remember that class you took and how we did this? We're building that competency in not just our Scrum Masters and that level, but we're building it in our delivery managers and our other leaders to say, use that, and how do we help from a business agility perspective? How else can we help you? The chief marketing officer, when I met with him a week and a half ago, said, I recognize that I'm a chess master and I need to be a gardener from that Team of Teams book. And I need coaching, and I need to do that. So I think for me, one of the other exciting things is that we have just gotten permission to hire 4 transformation consultants as full-time FTEs. The skill that we've relied on externally for so long, they're like, we know this isn't the end of it. We know it's a longer journey and we're going to need help, and how do we bring that in-house? So we now have that capability, and we're bringing those skills into the organization, and we're not talking just about agile processes, but we're talking about agility, and we're talking about what's the next piece of the transformation that we need to get to continue on the journey that we're on. So where are we today, Colby?
Well, I'm happy to report we have over 650 Agile teams, and that's not just software development teams. We're talking business teams as well, which is pretty cool. We didn't ever think that we would get to this place where we have just purely Agile business teams. Not saying it's perfect, but we're making a lot of great progress. Love that we have quarterly planning cycles now, because obviously, it's going to be really hard to be Agile if you say, hey, for this amount of money and this year, this is what I'm going to deliver. So now we talk about it quarterly. Do we need to trade off priorities, et cetera? And we're talking about $1 billion portfolio, so it's pretty cool. We still have a lot of other challenges that keep emerging. One of the things, we recently moved from a medium-sized to a large-sized bank. It's a different regulatory landscape. So now, what do we need to do to make sure that we're making our regulators happy in our current environment? And if any of you guys have figured that out, can you talk to me out here? Because I'm really struggling with this. So anyway, long story short, we still got a long way to go. We know we're not perfect, but we're making a lot of progress. So we're happy to share our story with any of you. Thanks.
Look, you get time back. I know, don't make that face.